I know that you're confident enough at this point to use TDD in order to delete a product. Of course, we will go through this together in this video, but I recommend to try it on your own first. Stop the video, create your test, and try to make it pass. In any case, in order to delete a product, the product must exist. Thus, the first test will assert that a 404 is thrown in case the product does not exist. The test is similar to update 404, so it is very similar to what we have here. Thus, I will just copy this, paste, and make the required modifications. So we'll fail with a 404 if product we want to delete is not found, the request is a delete request, and everything else is the same. I am not going to run the test because I know that the route and the action are required. According to previous videos, we know that we need a route and the action. For these basic steps, there is no need to run your tests after small changes that you know the answer to. We did that in the past in order to understand the process, but now we know what is required. So, this is the route, it is a delete request, and the action is destroy, and this is the action. So we have a public function destroy, and we just need the ID. Okay. All I do here is to write enough code to make the test pass. I know that I have to write the code in order to delete the product, but I am not going to, because that's a different test, and we are using TDD, so we take this step by step. First we write the test, and then we write enough code to make that test pass. For this case, we just test that we return a 404 in case we cannot find the product. So I will just write enough to make it pass. All I need is this line of code. Now, if I run this test, let me get the test name. As you can see, we return green. Those, let's continue with the other test. So the other test is can delete a product. Okay? So given that we have a product, when I make a request to delete the product, so this is very similar to this one. However, the ID is not -1, it is product ID. Okay. So when I make a request to delete the product, then we should get a 204 and the body will be null. So response assert status is 204 and we assert C null. Sometimes you can also return the ID instead of returning null. So you return the ID of the deleted resource. However, the ID is already known. You just made the delete request with that ID. So it depends on what you want to do. You can even return the whole product if you want, but in my case, I will just return null. If it is needed to return back an ID or something, or a slug maybe, I will do it. But in this case, it is not needed, so I will just return null. So if you run this test now, and this is a different test. So we get 200, however, we expect a 204. So let's write the code to make the test pass. So return response. And this is again JSON, however, we return null and the status code is 204. So this time it will pass. Okay, let's confirm that the product was deleted from the database. So we have this assert database missing. We pass the name of the table, which is products, and then we pass the attributes. So we have the ID is equal to product ID. Okay, so if I run this again, as you can see, this fails because the product is not deleted. So in order to delete a product, we should already know this line of code. Very simple. Okay, clear the console, run the test again, and this time it passes. Let's also run all the tests so we make sure that everything is working and nothing is broken. 9 tests pass.